Everybody, Sue's here from Revelation Quilts. Check out this really cute design. I call it airmail because it's just all these cute little envelopes. And it's super easy to make, super beginner friendly. I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm doing is I have chosen 4 yards of fabric, 4 fabrics, 1 yard each. And I am going to cut, I should be able to get 30 6.5-inch squares out of each of these yards. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here I got 30 squares of each fabric, all 6.5 inches square, and I'm going to pair them up. So I'm going to pair the orange and the cream together, and I'm going to pair these two together as well. But I'm only going to work with 1 pair of colors at the time. So I'm going to set these aside for now. And we are going to make quarter square triangles with this. And realistically, you can start with any size square you want. Just keep in mind that your finished square will be 1.5 inches smaller than your starting square. So if you start with a 5-inch square, your finished square will be 3.5 inches. I'm starting with a 6.5-inch square, so my finished square will be 5 inches. So just keep that in mind. So when we make quarter square triangles, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to make half square triangles. So I'm just going to pick 1 square of each color, and I'm going to put these aside for now. And actually, to make 4 blocks, we'll need 2 of each color. So we're just going to start out with 2 of the oranges and 2 of the creams, but we're going to set these aside for now, and we're just going to work on making our half square triangles. And so to make a half square triangle, I like to put them right sides together, and I'm going to draw a line from one corner to the other with my handy pen, and I'm just going to sew a 1/4 inch on each side of that line. So let me go get that sewn, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've sewn on each side of the line. You can't see it unless I flip it over, then you can see the stitching on each side. But I'm just going to take my ruler then, and I'm going to cut right along that line, just making a basic half square triangle. And then when I press these, I'm going to press them to the dark side. Just like this. I'm just going to press them just like that. Now you can trim these now. They will be trimmed down to 6 inches, or I usually skip this step just to save some time. So I'm going to take each of my full 6.5-inch squares, and I'm going to put these on top of here, and they are a little bigger, as you can see. And I'm just going to put these right sides together upside down, and I'm going to draw another line from corner to corner, going the opposite way of my previous stitching line. So it's almost like we're making hourglass blocks, but I'm just going to draw that line there, and I'm going to do one on this side. Because once you make one block, once you know how to make one block, you can chain piece the heck out of these, and they go so fast. Okay, so now I'm going to sew on both sides of this line, and then we'll get our little 1/4 square triangle blocks, and they'll look like little envelopes. Be right back. All right, so my seams are sewn, and now I'm just going to cut down the line that I drew again. Just like so. And I'll do this one as well, as long as I'm here. And now when I open these up, I'm going to have my little envelopes, 1 in each color. So I'm going to press these to the dark side, and then I'll bring them right back. So here I've got my cute little envelopes, 1 in each color. So this was made with just 4 squares, 2 of each color. And I love that I get 4 blocks out of this. So when you trim these up, it's very easy. We're going to trim them to 5.5 inches. And to do that, I'm going to take my square and I'm going to use my 45-degree line, and I'm just going to line that right up with the seam that I'm sewn, but I'm going to make sure that middle point hits that line at 2 3/4 inches. And so that way, when I trim, I know I'm squaring these up to 5.5 inches. And then when I turn it over to trim the other side, I can just use my actual 5.5 inch line on the side, on two sides. And then I can also just make sure that that is hitting at 2 3/4 inches right in the middle there. And then trim away. So there I have got my little envelopes, and I just have one more to do for these four, and then we'll make this block just like this for all of them. Okay, so here you can see I've got all my blocks sewn. They just are adorable. They look like little envelopes, and I have 30 of each. So I have 120 all together. And so let's put them up on the board. They go up a very specific way for this quilt. But that being said, there are so many ways you could lay this out that would look so cute, and I encourage you to play with this. But let me show you how this is going to go up on the board. I am going to start with the one that is the darker orange with the cream. And this one is always going to be facing so the envelope, so the flap of the envelope is down. So we'll start with that one up here. And I'm going to work these downwards. The next one will be the one that is dark with the envelope. And this one is going to be facing to the right. Okay, and so that whole column is going to be exactly that. So I know that my column is going to be 10 blocks down and 12 across. So I'm just going to do 10 blocks down, alternating these two. So this one's going facing down, and then the next one will be facing to the right. And I'm just going to continue that until I've got 10 all the way down. Okay, so I've got my 10 in my first column. Now the second column, they will be the opposite colors. So I will start with the light one with the dark envelope here. So that one is going to be facing to the left. And then my opposite one with the cream and the orange, that one is going to be at the top. So if you look at this, it kind of forms a little pinwheel up there. And the second column will just be a repeat of all of those. So I will have this one facing the left, and then the white one with the orange facing up and down. So I'll just be forming these little pinwheels as I go. So I'll get the second column done. So there's my second column. And the rest of the quilt is just a repeat of that. So the first column has the envelope that's upside down, facing to the right, upside down, facing to the right. The second column is facing to the left, right side up, facing to the left, right side up. I just see these as little envelopes. And so, like I said, the rest of the quilt, you just build off of these two blocks. Everything is going the same way. So all of the blocks that look like this are all going to be straight up and down. And all the blocks that look like this are going to be upside down. And so that is how the whole quilt's going to go. So let me get this all laid out, and let's see that secondary pattern that comes out. done. How cool is that? So hopefully you can see that this creates an amazing secondary pattern, kind of a zigzaggy cross. In the picture, in this video, it might not show up the difference between these two fabrics. There's not a lot of contrast there, but there's enough of a contrast if you saw it up close, where you would see this kind of crooked X secondary pattern. It looks very cool. The more I look at it, the more I really like it. It turned out very cool. So I am going to sew all these rows together, and then as I sew a row, I will press the seam allowances all in one direction, and then when I sew the next row, I will press those seam allowances in the opposite direction, so that when I put the rows together, those seams will nest. They'll be going in opposite directions every row, so that will help so it lays nice and flat. So here's the finished quilt. I ended up putting 2 borders around it. The first teal border is a 2-inch border, and then I added a 4-inch border with a design of orange poppies to kind of soften up the harsh lines of the quilt. So I really debated on whether I wanted to put a border on it or not. So I put it to a vote, and it was almost overwhelmingly a thumbs up for the borders. So I decided to put the borders on, and I do really like it. I had trouble finding fabric in my stash that would match for borders, but I think I did pretty good. I didn't want to go out and buy new fabric. I wanted to use what I had. And that is what the quilting life is like, as you can see on my t-shirt, which you can get at the t-shirt store. Just follow the link in the description. All kinds of quilty t-shirt designs, and the response has been overwhelming. Everybody loves these t-shirts, so they're great t-shirts. Oh, and by the way, this quilt measures 60 by 71. I'm sorry, 61 by 70. If you're interested in purchasing a pattern of this, it will probably take a few weeks to write the pattern, but you can pre-order it on revelationquilts.com. There will be a chance to pre-order. I'm not going to write the pattern unless I get pre-orders for it, but you should be able to follow along without a pattern. Also, if you want to remember how I did the layout for this, you can do what I do, and I save the video. There's an option to save the video so you can check back and look at the layout, because sometimes it can get confusing on the layout, or you can just do a screenshot. That's also something I do if I see a quilt that I want to make, or if I want to remember how the layout was. So those are 2 options that you also have to follow. A special thank you goes to all of my members. Thank you so much for the extra support that you're giving me. If you are a 2nd tier member, remember you can join the Facebook page and you can get all of my digital patterns included in the price of that secondary membership. So just give me an email at revelationquilts@yahoo.com, and I'll be happy to add you to the Facebook group. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is Sue signing off for Revelation Quilts. Happy sewing!